Seam shifted weight. What is it and how do we use it? Okay, before we start, credit to Barton Smith, I think University of Utah, professor there who coined this term and basically figured out the physics behind it. This is not something new in baseball. This is something that people have been doing for a long time. It's a big reason why Greg Maddux was able to move the ball the way he did, but they didn't really have a term for it. They didn't really know why it was doing what it was doing, as far as I know. And just recently in baseball history has it become more mainstream and been it now has a name. So what is it? Basically aligning the seams in a certain way to where the air that is passing over the ball will deflect off of a seam and not reconnect onto the leather of the baseball. Okay, how do we do it? You want to basically find a long seam and find a way to put that long seam just behind the back. If you were to look at the baseball from the side direction like this, just behind the halfway point of the ball. All right. So if you take this one seam sinker, one seam changeup ball that we have right here, we want this ball to move down into our arm side. Okay. So this is the reason we color the ball the way we do and draw the circles and lines the way we do. It helps us do this without even really knowing exactly how to do it. So what we're trying to do is get this long seam on top of the ball and maybe above our left shoulder, kind of pointed to our glove side a little bit, right here, to where every half turn, this long seam is floating around the top of the ball. Long seam there, half turn, long seam there, half turn, just like that, okay? What's happening is the air is hitting this smooth leather part, and it's hitting this seam, and typically it'll hit the seam and reconnect back to the ball, all right? But if you put the seam at the right spot, not too far forward, not too far back, put the seam at the right spot, it'll hit this seam and deflect up, and it won't reconnect back to the ball. Now, what happens, this pushes the ball the opposite direction, just in the same way that a plane will lift up the flaps and throw the air off the back of the wing instead of the air connecting with the air on the bottom side, and it'll push the plane down, and the opposite, it'll do the opposite to push the plane up. That's what happens when you have seam shift, all right? And the same thing is happening here on this two-seam ball, where we throw it like this, and there's a seam right here getting hit and deflecting the air this way, just like this, through its rotation. And it's basically putting a seam halfway through the ball, just a little bit behind it, just like that. And that's why we say to cut it, hitting that air, that seam, throwing it off.